Today's our session is for exercise again. Okay, but today we are going to cover the chapter 1 exercise for history. Okay, today we are going to cover exercise of history chapter 1. Okay, I hope you have noted down all the question answers of the previous lessons in history which I had given you, in geography which I had given you. Okay, please note down all the exercises are from back of the lesson, from behind the lesson. Okay, so for today let us continue with SST history chapter 1 exercise for class 7. Now what all questions are we going to cover in this chapter? In this exercise, the questions which we are going to cover are fill in the blanks. Okay, next, answer the following in detail. In this you will get all types of answers, means brief also, short also, very short also. Okay, I have not differentiated anything. I have not made the questions differently, like very short differently and all this. We have covered all the questions with the same. Okay, so answer the following in detail, choose the correct answers. Okay, in which you will have the options and you have to write all the options and then tick the answer. Okay, don't think that you only have to write the correct answer and it is done. No, in choose the correct answer you have to write all the answers. Okay, all the 3 or 4 options, whatever may be given there, you have to write all of them. Okay, next, match the following. Next will be match the following. For matching, I have given you the numbers. You have to also write down in the same way. You are not supposed to match it with the lines. Don't make the lines. Okay, you have to number it. Answer in one word. Next will be answer in one word. Then lookups. Okay, then it will be some kind of question answers. Now let us see. Okay, first question, who was considered a foreigner in past? Okay, which is the first question? Who was considered a foreigner in past? Answer, a person who was a stranger or who was not a part of the society or culture was considered as a foreigner or pardesi or ajnabi. Okay, now who was considered as a foreigner? The person who was a stranger. Stranger means who was not known for the community, who was not known, means if he entered any village and if anybody is not knowing him, then people would, what would people say him? People would say him like a pardesi. He is a pardesi, or he is a foreigner, or he is an ajnabi, means stranger. Okay, in this sense, a forest dweller was a foreigner for a city dweller, but two peasants living in the same village were not foreigners to each other, even though they may have had different villages. Means here, in today's, like in now's generation, in today's generation, if we see who are the foreigners, we call the foreigners the person who comes from out of the country, right? The person who comes from other country, we call that person as foreigner or pardesi, right? But in ancient time, the people who used to be a stranger or not a part of the society, not a part of the society means if any villager also went to the city. So for the city dwellers, or you can say for the city person, the villager was a foreigner. Okay, in olden days it was said so. Okay, so I would read the whole question again and with the answer. Question number 1: who was considered as a foreigner in past? Okay, so answer to this is a person who was a stranger or who was not a part of the society or culture was considered as a foreigner or pardesi or ajnabi. Full stop. In this sense, a forest dweller was a foreigner for a city dweller. Okay, dweller means to stay. Okay, the place where you live, it's called dwelling. Now what is your dwelling place? Your dwelling place is your house. Okay, so in this sense, a forest dweller was a foreigner for a city dweller. Okay, but the two peasants living in the same village were not foreigners to each other. Okay, even though they may have had different religions. Moving to question number 2: how were the affairs of jatis regulated? Answer: the affairs of jatis were regulated in the following ways. I repeat the answer. The affairs of jatis were regulated in the following ways. Now you have to write down in points. Okay, first, jatis formed their own rules and regulations. Jatis formed their own rules and regulations. Next, there was an assembly of elders. Now in the jatis, in their societies, there was an assembly for the elders, okay, and that assembly was known as Jati Panchayat. And this Jati Panchayat, these elder person would sit and they would enforce the rules, means they would make some kind of new rules and regulations. Jatis were also directed to follow the rules of the village. Several villages were governed by a chieftain. Okay, several villages were governed by the chieftains. Okay, I repeat the second question and the answer. How were the affairs of jatis regulated? Answer: the affairs of jatis were regulated in the following ways. First, jatis were formed their own rules and regulations. Jatis formed their own rules and regulations. There was an assembly of elders called Jati Panchayat which used to enforce the rules, etc. Jatis were also directed to follow the rules of this village, and several villages were governed by the chieftain. Okay. Now moving to question number 3. Please note down. Question number 3 is: what were some of the major religious development during this period? What were the major developments during this period? Okay, so answer to this is: the major developments, religious developments during this period. Again, you have to write it down in points. Okay, some of the major significant religious developments occurred in the Hinduism which included the worship of new deities. New deities. Deities means the statues. Okay. Now what religious developments occurred? First religious development occurred that the Hindu people started worshipping the statues of the god. Okay. Previously when they did not know the face, or you can say the structure of the god, they used to worship the nature, means the trees, the sun, the moon, the water, everything. Okay. But when slowly when the religious developed, okay, significant religious when there was a development in the religion, people started worshipping the deities, their own gods. Okay. Next point. Hindus started the constructions of temples by royalty. Means previously they did not have any kind of temple. They used to you can say they used to keep the statues in a hut made up of straw and grass and everything. Okay. But as it developed, the Hindus now started to construct the temples, beautiful temples, and then they started keeping the god in that and worshipping. Importance of Brahmanas and priests grown, and they became dominant group of the society. Now the Hindus and now the Brahmins and the Brahmanas and the priests, now they were given a very high level in the society. Okay, because now for every religious occasion, Brahmins and priests were needed. Without them, the occasions were not completed. Next, there was also the emergence of the idea of bhakti, that is of loving a personal deity. Idea of bhakti was also brought up through this. Okay, bhakti means now loving your personal deity, as we can say like Mirabai has her personal god, personal deity. Okay, Krishna, Lord Krishna, she used to worship Lord Krishna. So that's like this emergence. There was also an emergence of idea of bhakti. Okay, during this period, new religions like Islam appeared in the subcontinent, that who brought the teachings of Holy Quran. Now when Islam appeared in the subcontinent, there were teachings of Quran. Now what is Quran? Quran is the holy book of the Muslims. Okay, as we have Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata and all. Okay, same as the holy book of Islam is known as Quran. Okay. Next, many rulers were patrons of Islam and ulama. Okay. Now they were the patrons. Patrons means they brought up them. Okay. The merchants and migrants brought with them the teachings of Quran and the Quran, the holy book of Muslims. Now the merchants means the people who came for trading. Okay, they brought this Quran, the teaching of Quran. Migrants means the people who travel from one place to another. Okay, who change their place. So I would read the whole answer again. I have explained you. Question number 3. What were some of the major religious developments during this period? The major religious developments during this period were some of the major significant religious development occurred in the Hinduism, which included the worship of new deities. Number 2, Hindus started the construction of temples by royalty. Number 3, importance of Brahmanas and the priests grown, and they became dominant groups of the society. There was also the emergence of the idea of bhakti, that is of a loving personal deity. Next, during this period, new religions like Islam appeared in the subcontinent who brought the teachings of Holy Quran, full stop. Next, many rulers were patrons of Islam and ulama. Next, the merchants and the migrants brought with them the teaching of Quran, the holy book of Muslims. Okay, moving to the next question, that is question number 4. Question number 4 is, what does the term pan-religion empire mean? Now, what does the term pan-religion empire? You have to explain here. Okay, answer. Pan-religion empire means the empire crossing its region and spreading over several other regions. Now, what is pan-religion empire? Pan-religion empire means the empire which crosses its region and spreads into other region. Okay. So, pan-religion empire means the empire crossing its region and spreading over the several other regions. The dynasties like Cholas, Khiljis, Tughlaqs and Mughals extended their empire pan-regional. Most of the regions across the subcontinent were left with the legacies of the big and small states that had ruled over them. Now, under this pan-regional empire, which dynasties were included? The dynasties of Cholas, Khiljis, Tughlaqs and Mughals. Okay, I repeat the answer again. Pan-regional empire means the empire crossing its region and spreading over several other regions. The dynasties like Cholas, Khiljis, Tughlaqs, Mughals, they extended their empires pan-regional. Okay, full stop. Most of the regions across the subcontinent were left with the legacies of the big and small states that had ruled over them. Okay, now moving to question number 5. What are the difficulties historians face in using manuscripts? Now, what difficulties did the historians face when they were using the manuscript? Okay, when they were reading it, what kind of problems they had to face? Difficulties. The historians faced the following difficulties in using manuscript. This also you can write it down in points. Okay, first one, manuscripts are in dilapidated condition, sometimes even too bad to touch. Okay, next, their copies had been distorted by the scribes' sentences and words here and there. Okay, and next, some of these were written in Sikaste. Sikaste is the language like Persian, Arabic, such type of. Okay, so here it's trying to say that, so dilapidated means spoiled. Okay, now why were the historians not able to, or you can say why were they facing difficulties in using the manuscript? The first was, it was in such a spoiled condition that it was very hard to touch also. As you know that the manuscripts were written on leaves of the plants, right? So while and the leaves get dried. So when they got dried, it was very hard, or it was very difficult for them to touch also, because it got ruined. Okay. And the copies which were being made by the scribes, while explaining you the manuscripts, I had told you that the scribes used to copy the manuscripts, and while copying the manuscript, they used to do some kind of changes in that. Okay, sometimes because of their writing also, it was not understood by the historians. Okay, and the last is that it was written in Sikaste. Sikaste is one type of a language. Okay, so these were the difficulties that were faced. Manuscripts are in the dilapidated conditions, sometimes even too bad to touch. Next, their copies have been distorted by the scribes, sentences and words here and there. And the last is, some of these are written in Sikaste, that is a script, a language you can say, or a writing you can say. They were written in such positions. Okay. Now moving to our next question, that is question number 6. Question number 6 is, how do historians divide the past into periods? Okay, and do they face any problems in doing so? So the answer to this is, historians divide the past into periods on the basis of continuity as well as economic and social factors to characterize the major elements of different moments of the past. Full stop. The continuity is further based on coins, inscriptions, architecture and textual record. Okay, this is the answer of how do historians divide the past into periods. Historians divide the past into periods on the basis of coins which they have found, on the basis of inscriptions which they have. Architecture means the buildings, or you can say the houses, the palaces which were built at that time. Okay, and by the textual records, whatever they got, through that they divide the history. Okay, they divide the history into periods. Okay, now our next question, it is asking, do they face any problem in doing so? So the answer to this is, the historians faced a lot of problems because time itself reflects changes in social and economic organization, in the persistence and transformation of ideas and beliefs. Right? Now the history itself says us that as the time passed, many changes occurred. Right? Many changes, social changes, economical changes, many changes occurred. So this was the first problem which they had to face, because the time itself reflects the changes in the social and economic. Changes in social and economic ideas and beliefs of the people. Right? When religious development took place, there was a lot of difference in the society. Okay, next, therefore describing the entire period as one historical unit is not without its problems. Next, modernity also carries a sense of material progress and intellectual advancement. Next, the study of time is made somewhat easier by using the past into large segment periods which possesses shared characteristics. Next, but they had to face difficulties in doing so as discontinuity did exist. And last, textual records increased heavily. So this is the answer to question number 6, which I repeat once more. Please check it out. Historians divide the past into periods on the basis of continuity as well as economic and social factors to characterize the major elements of different moments of the past. Full stop. The continuity is further based on coins, inscriptions, architecture, and textual records. The historians faced lots of problems because time reflects itself. Changes in social and economic organization, in the persistence and transformation of ideas and belief. Full stop. Therefore, describing the entire period as an historical unit is not without its problems. Next, modernity also carries a sense of material progress and intellectual advancement. The study of time is made somewhat easier by dividing the past into large segments, periods which possess shared characteristics, and next, but they had to face difficulties in doing so as discontinuity exists. And the last one is textual records increased heavily. Okay, moving to our next question, that is right, true or false. Now the first one, true and false. We do not find inscriptions up for the period after 700. After the period of 700, are there no inscriptions? Is it false or true? It is false. Yes, we do have the inscriptions after 700 also. Okay. Next, the Marathas asserted their political importance during this period. Yes. During this period, the Marathas asserted their political importance. Okay, so it's true. Next, forest dwellers were sometimes pushed out of their lands with the spread of agricultural settlements. Yes, sometimes the forest dwellers, because of the, you can say, the need of the land, okay, the forest dwellers were pushed out of their lands. Okay, they were told, or you can say their lands were taken away. Okay, so that's also true. Next, Sultan Ghiyasuddin Balban controlled Assam, Manipur and Kashmir. Sultan Ghiyasuddin controlled Assam, Manipur and Kashmir. Yes, it's true. Okay, it is true. Next, India got its name in the 13th century. India got its name in the 13th century. Yes, true. Next, Babur used the term Hindustan to specify geography, flora, fauna and cultures of the entire Indian subcontinent. Barber used the term Hindustan because he wanted to specify geography, flora, fauna and culture of the entire Indian continent. Yes, true. Number F is true. Next, according to Sanskrit Prasasti, the eastern limit of Ghiyasuddin Balban's empire was extended to Bihar. According to Sanskrit Prasasti, the eastern limit of Ghiyasuddin Balban's empire was extended in Bihar. False. It was extended in Bengal. Okay, so that's false. Now moving to our next question, that is fill in the blanks. In the blanks. Archives are places where dash are kept. Now in the dash, what is in the dash? The dash is the answer. Okay. Now the words which you are looking on the screen, okay, which are there on your screen, which are highlighted in red, that red are the answers. Okay. Archives are places where dash are kept. Archives are places where manuscripts are kept. Archives are places where manuscripts are kept. Okay. Next. Dash was the 14th century chronicler. Dash was the 14th century chronicler. Answer is Ziauddin Barani. Ziauddin Barani was a 14th century chronicler. Okay. Next. Dash, 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 dash and dash. So there are 5 dashes. Okay. There are 5 blanks. Were some of the new crops introduced into the subcontinent during this period? Now, which new crops were introduced? Answer: potato, corn, chilies, tea and coffee. Okay? Which are the answers? Potato, corn, chilies, tea and coffee. Okay? Next, number D. Every medieval period saw worship of new blank. Every medieval period saw the worship of new dash. Dash is deities. Every medieval period saw worship of new deities. Okay. Next, further. Number E. Amir Khusro described Mahari as the language of dash. Amir Khusro described Mahari as the language of dash. Amir Khusro described Mahari as the language of Tamil Nadu. Okay. Next. Dwarsa Mudri was the language spoken in dash. Dwarsa Mudri is the language spoken in dash. It is in southern Karnataka. Southern Karnataka. Okay. Dwarsa Mudri was the language spoken in southern Karnataka. G. Now number G. In every medieval period, manuscripts were copied by dash. In every medieval period, manuscripts were copied by dash hand. Manuscripts were copied by hand. Okay. Moving to our next question. It is choose the correct answer. Multiple choice questions, or you can say choose the correct answers. As I have told you, you have to write all the options and you are going to tick the answer, the correct answer. You are going to tick the correct answer, writing all the three options and tick the correct answer. Okay, start. First one. Al-Idrisi was a dash. Al-Idrisi was a dash. Now who was Al-Idrisi? Geographer, B. ruler, C. historian. Al-Idrisi was a geographer. The answer is option A. Al-Idrisi was a geographer. Our answer is option A. Next, Cholas, Khiljis and Tughlaqs. Cholas, Khiljis and Tughlaqs built their empires that were dash. Cholas, Khiljis and Tughlaqs built empire that were dash. That were religious, option A. B. Pan-regional and C. imperial. So our answer is option B. Pan-regional. Cholas, Khiljis and Tughlaqs built empires that were, option B is the answer, pan-regional. Okay. Next, Ghiyasuddin Balban was a dash. Ghiyasuddin Balban was a dash. So what is the answer? Ghiyasuddin Balban was a, option A, Khalifa, option B, French ruler, option C, Delhi Sultan. Ghiyasuddin Balban was a Delhi Sultan. Ghiyasuddin Balban was a Delhi Sultan. Our answer is option C. Ghiyasuddin Balban was a Delhi Sultan. Next, Hanafi and Shafi. Hanafi and Shafi were the dash. Hanafi and Shafi were the dash. Hanafi and Shafi were the, option A, Sunni Muslims, option B, Shia Muslims, option C, schools of laws. Hanafi and Shafi were the schools of law. Okay, Hanafi and Shafi were the schools of law. So these are the multiple choice answers, multiple choice questions for you. Okay, next we will move to match the following. Match the following. In this, you have to make two columns first. What are you going to do? You are going to make two columns, column A, column B. Okay. After that, making two columns, first I will tell you the column A. What are the options of column A and then the options of column B. Now here you are looking that there are some letters in the bracket and that are highlighted in red. So these red letters highlighted are the answers. Okay. First column A, it is India. Number A is India. Number A is India. Number B, Hindvi. or you can say Hindavi, but it's Hindvi, not Hindavi. Okay, number B, Hindvi. Number C, textual records. Number C, textual records. Number D, assembly of elders. Number C, assembly of elders. Number E, Ghazni. Number E is Ghazni. Now moving to column B. First one is Jati Panchayat. Next, number 2, Ghazana. Number 2, Ghazana. Number 3, national states. Number 3, national states. Number 4, sources. Number 4, sources. And number 5, in area around Delhi. In area around Delhi. Okay, now let's look at the answers. India. Now India, the option is column B, number 3, that is nation states. Option is column B, number 3, nation state. Okay. Next, Hindvi. Hindvi, the option is column B, number 5, in area around Delhi. An area around Delhi. Okay. Next, textual records. Now textual records, the option is column B, number 4, sources. Column B, number 4, sources is the answer. Okay. Next, column A, assembly of elders. Now for assembly of elders, the answer is column B, number 1, Jati Panchayat. Assembly of elders, Jati Panchayat. And then Ghazni. Ghazni, column B, option 2, Ghazana. Column B, option 2, Ghazana. Okay. Moving to our last question, that is define. The first define is religion. Our first define is religion. Okay. What is the definition of it? Its definition is a belief in and worship of superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. Okay. I repeat again. The belief in the worship of superhuman controlling power, especially a personal gods, a personal god or gods. Next is patron. Patrons. Patrons. Patrons means a person who gives financial or other support. Okay. The person who gives financial or other support to a person, organization or cause. Okay. Patron, a person who gives financial or other support to a person, organization or cause. Next, cartographer. Next is cartographer. Okay. Now who is a cartographer? A cartographer is a person who draws or produces map. A cartographer is a person who draws or produces maps. Next, Khalifa. Khalifa means a name or a title which means successor, ruler or leader. Khalifa means, what is the definition of Khalifa? Khalifa means a name or title which means successor, ruler or leader. Okay. Next, chieftain. The leader or the leader of a people or clan. Leader of people or clan, comma, a powerful member of organization. Okay, define chieftain. The leader of people or clan, or you can say a powerful member of an organization is called a chieftain. Okay. Now these were the question answers of chapter 1 history for class 7. This was the exercise. Okay. Now study well, guys. Hope we will meet soon in the school. Till then, whatever is being taught you online, please study, please note down everything. Okay. And most important, take care of your health. That is must. Okay. And please listen to your parents. Till then, again I would say, take care of your health and